This video is solely inspired by Toko's teaching all of you GGST in one video, and I hope that it has a similar impact to 2xKO that video did for Strive. So if you have the chance, check that video out. This is going to be a guide getting you straight to the fun that this game has to offer for people who may think fighting games are some impossible task, thought about playing 2xKO but are scared that they're too hard, have played a fighting game before and got demolished and don't want to play them anymore, or are planning on playing the game with no prior experience. Riot has done a good job in their in-game tutorials teaching the people the game and really recommend doing them, but it's very easy to gloss over it without paying attention because we want to get right into it, and tutorials feel slow and restrictive for some reason because our small little TikTok brains and we just mentally check out. Or your friends play this game and they tell you to play because there's this duo mode and you want to start playing with them as soon as possible, so you try and get through the tutorial as fast as possible without really paying attention, which is also where 2xKO puts itself in a unique position in the realm of fighting games. Not because it's currently the only tag fighter competing in this space till Toko arrives, sorry Net Impact, not because it's free to play, but it's because the ability to play duos with another human being on your side. One thing about fighting games is that they're a very, very, very lonely game. Most of them are 1v1 games where your wins are your own, your losses are your own, no one else to blame but yourself. Well, you can probably find ways to blame the game, but you don't really talk to anyone, you just queue from training mode and keep fighting and watching your MR go up 3 points from where you started after 4 hours of playing. From playing Street Fighter 6, sometimes you even think that the people you're playing against aren't even human after the Ken you're fighting wake up DPs for the 10th time in a row. But 2xKO brings the magic of League of Legends, not just from its characters, but the ability to blame your teammates from your losses. And plus, the game is pretty fucking cool. If you've watched JJK and you remember those clips of Yuji and Toto tag teaming Hanami and they're just punch, 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 and then they're clapping and they're switching spots, that's literally how this game feels when you're trying to play this game with a friend. Riot also made some decisions with this game that they want to reduce the friction for non-fighting game players to enjoy the game, but if you just search up anything of anybody playing this game or watching people from the FGC play this game and seeing what they can do, it might make the game seem very unapproachable for many people. Even if you're a part of the FGC, this video will hopefully be helpful for you to understand what it's like for someone new who's never touched a controller to play a fighting game to get into the game, and maybe you can send this guide to them to help them be able to have a great time playing duos together with them, because really, it's one of the best parts about this game. It's one of the easiest games to pick up and have fun with. The floor is really, really high, but the ceiling gets even higher. Pulse is something that helps with it, but I promise you, you don't need it. If you pay attention to this video, you'll understand that combos, they're not really anything. This game is really easy and it's really fun as long as you learn the right things that matter, that are key for a majority of people to have fun playing fighting games. Alright, what the fuck is going on for the next half an hour? Whether you like League of Legends but hate playing League of Legends and want to play League of Legends without playing League of Legends, if you've watched Arcane and you thought this game looked pretty cool and not League of Legends, or people are telling you to play this game because it just looks cool and has duos and fighting games are fun, this video will be a definite guide to booting up the game for the first time, to being able to enjoy playing this game with your friends or even by yourself as fast as possible. If you watch the whole thing, listen, actually try to learn, and you're still not having fun, then either I didn't do a good enough job, or you can't learn, or maybe fighting games actually aren't for you. But I'm telling you, this shit is easy, fun, and something about beating someone else up in a game, it's so satisfying. And imagine doing it with your friend. I promise I'm not a psycho. So pull this up on the second monitor, have your phone beside you, and have the video open, and have the game open while I'm talking. Because at some points you should pause and try and do the stuff that I'm talking about. And when I say definite, I mean definite. If I miss anything, then it probably didn't matter for you to have fun. What about an instant overhead cross-up side switch high-low 50-50 mix-up meaty sounds like fun. All jokes aside, if I truly miss something, just let me know in the comments and I'll try and help out as much as I can. So if you just give me a moment of your time and watch the whole video, I promise you'll be having fun, or at least have an understanding how simple fighting games actually are. And if you can play rock, paper, scissors, you can play this game. Lastly, what makes me qualified to make this video? Nothing, honestly. So let's go. What do I do with my hands? Well, it's up to you. If you're comfortable playing with a controller, that would be great. If you're comfortable playing with the keyboard, that's also great. These are the default key bindings for everything. They are low-key the best, so you don't even need to change them. If you're playing on controller, I recommend using the D-pad instead of stick. If you're a League of Legends player playing on keyboard, think of your right hand like controlling Q, W, E, R, and D and F. As long as you tell your brain that, it'll make sense. Do the first steps. I'm going to assume that this is the first time you booted up the game. Do the first steps and try to pay attention. It's a mini tutorial that is really good to learn how the game works on a basic level. Riot tries to teach you and it makes you do this when you first open up the game. If this isn't the first time you're booting up the game and you're here, then I guess it didn't help too much. If you didn't understand something, I'll pretty much go over everything you need to know anyway, so don't worry. So pause this and do that if you haven't already, then come back, boot up training mode and pick a character, and let's get on this ride together. Joystick, what character do I play? Thanks to being a small indie company, there's only 11 options to choose from right now, so whichever one speaks to you, pick that one. Just look through all the characters. Maybe you played League of Legends and you played this character in that game. Just pick that one. Keep in mind, some champs are harder than others, and some are more beginner friendly, like this guy. So just pick one character to learn for now, and then pick a random second champ. I think Pulse is on by default. If you want to use Pulse, you can. I won't stop you. This allows you to do auto combos by hitting one button over and over and over again, and you'll get straight into the fun without learning any combos. But I promise these games combos are so simple a child can do it. Now it's time to choose a fuse. If you're by yourself learning in training mode, choose Sidekick. This is the best way to learn how to play if you're just by yourself. But if you're learning and playing with someone else as a duo, and you're trying to be on the same team, pick Double Down when you're trying to play the game as a duo. Do not fall for the Sidekick trap with your duo. It'll be slower to help you learn rather than actually playing the game. It's like the Yumi paradox. It'll teach you to play a different game while playing the game you actually want to learn. I'm looking at you, fighting game players. Do not banish your duo to Yumi. And if you're a duo who both need to learn the game at the same time, go into opposite teams in the training mode and learn together. If you don't know how to do that, one person makes a private lobby, sends the code in the escape menu, and the other person joins with that code. And there's the 2 training cabinets. Hop on different cabinets. Make sure you're not on the same team. We're going back to the basics. 2xKO is a 2D fighting game, so that means you can only move left, right, up, or down. I was going to use numpad notation, but then I saw what Northern Lion had to deal with when he was trying 2xKO, so I won't even do that. However, if you do come across it because you look somewhere else first instead of listening to this video like you were supposed to, then this is the translation of the numpad notation hieroglyphics. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to assume you're afraid of numbers, so I'll just use intuitive directions. So yes, left, right, up, and down. Your opponent can do the same. Your character will always be facing towards the opponent. Remember that. Up is to jump, down is to crouch. Spam to teabag. Left and right are obviously using your left and right buttons on the D-pad, or A and D if you're playing on keyboard. We're going to go head first into visual comprehension skills, so brace yourselves. When thinking about directions in this game, it's always best to try and think of it as back and forwards instead of left and right. This is because you are always facing your opponent. Clicking left can mean forwards or back, depending on what side of the screen your character's on. Quick, pop quiz! If you were Vi and I told you to go forwards towards Echo, what button do you click? If you said left, congrats, you know basic directions, welcome to senior kindergarten. You can double tap forwards to dash forwards, you can double tap backwards to dash backwards. Holding the button after dashing forwards makes you run, and there's also a dash button. If you're on controller, it's R1 or R right trigger, if you're on keyboard, it's space. You're going to walk as little as possible. Spamming dash forwards and dash backwards is the way to move fast. Doing this, you'll already look like you know how to play the game. Holding diagonals allows you to do both of those directions at once. So if you do diagonal up and forward, you'll jump forward. If you diagonal up and back, you'll jump away. If you're on keyboard, it's W and D or W and A. So now that you know how to move around, it's combo time, right? No, these are your 3 attack buttons. For controller peeps, light is X and square, medium is Y and triangle, heavy is B and circle. For keyboard, it's light, medium, heavy. In that order is J, K, and L, which is your index, middle, and ring finger if you have your finger on the J where the nipple is. Lights are the fastest but don't do a lot of damage and have short range. Mediums are a little slower but do more damage and are a little bigger. Heavies are really big and do more damage but they're really slow. You also have 2 special buttons, S1 and S2. These are the buttons for your specials. Left trigger or L2 is your S1, right trigger or R2 is your S2. For keyboard players, M and comma, those are your S1 and S2. These are mostly unique to each character, but think of them as attacks or abilities that make them really different from the other ones, like charge a punch or throw a time winder. Doing a direction with an attack or special will change how they work. Even being in the air can change it as well. The last button that matters is the tag button. This button handles everything that has to do with the 2x part of the KO. You'll know when to press it later, it doesn't really matter yet. Because why learn how to run when you can't even walk? Right now, get a feel of how to move with your character, where your attack buttons are on the controller. Light, medium, heavy are going to be your favorite buttons. These are your main attacks. Get familiar with them, and more specifically, get familiar with them in that specific order. So is it combo time now? Kinda. Quick, say the first 3 letters of the alphabet. A, B, C. See how fast you can do that? You're going to be able to do light, medium, heavy that fast too. Walk up to your opponent, stand still, and hit them in that order. Do it quick enough, and the little child did their first combo. So when I say go, do the magic combo. Go. Light, medium, heavy. Go. Light, medium, heavy. If a combo, it'll show us a 3 on the side of the screen. Eventually, you'll be comfortable where these buttons are on the controller like it's the back of your hand. In this game, there's something called Pulse, where you can just hit the same attack button over and over and over again. It'll do a combo for you, no matter what attack button you press. If you're really having trouble doing light, medium, heavy, turn this mode on to have fun for now and come back to training mode to work on that some other time. But I think you guys got this. I believe in you. I'm not asking you to do a 40-hit combo, just these 3 buttons for now. So practice that a little bit, dashing in, dashing around, doing your little magic combo with the light, medium, heavy. If you're feeling a little advanced, throw in a special at the end with either S1 or S2. So for example, on Xbox, you do X, Y, B, and then left trigger. Now you're fighting gaming. And once you've consistently added the special into your magic combo, you can get even crazier by adding in a super by pressing the special button and an attack button at the same time. Like left trigger X, L2 square, right trigger Y, R2 circle. This will perform a super as long as you have super meter on the bottom of your screen. Some supers will work in this combo depending on what special you used was. So try them out to maybe figure out that on your own, and that's what we call labbing. Now we're fighting gaming. Damn, doesn't it feel good to hit those combos? This will be the extent of your combos for now. If you make it to the end, there'll be some more cool combos for you there. The actual most important thing to understand about controlling your character is that everything you do is a commitment. Once you start doing something, you can't back out. That's why heavies and slow specials are risky because they're slow. You can see what I mean when you do a heavy and try to hold jump after. Your jump won't happen until after your heavy animation is done. That also means you can't block once you've committed to an attack. If you're coming from League, think of it like the animation of your abilities. A lot of abilities in League have an animation or a cast time when doing it. Think Thresh Hook or Senna Ult, where you can't move when you're casting them. If you're coming from Valorant, think of it like switching guns or a pull-out animation or casting your Raze ult and you die in your animation and you look kind of stupid. So dashing in this game is a commitment, using an attack is a commitment, using a special is also a commitment. You can't do anything else once you decide to do that. You can get hit in the middle of these animations, so be careful, don't get caught with your pants down. This is also where the speed of your attacks matter as well. If you and your opponent both attack at the same exact time, you do a heavy and he does a light, he will hit you first. Oh my gosh, lights are so broken, right? I can just win if I just keep hitting lights before the other guy does. I'm gonna go around beating people, just spamming lights till it hits. Just like sports, defense wins championships. Offense doesn't matter if you keep losing on defense. If you keep losing on defense, you won't get to play offense. Here's what you're gonna do if you keep getting hit by attacks like those lights I was talking about earlier. If you didn't skip the tutorial, you already know that holding back or away from your opponent is how to block. Remember, everything in this game is a commitment. If you plan on blocking, you can't do anything else. If you try punching with a light, you committed to that punch and you can't block anymore. If you want to hold block and nothing else. Pressing a button will cancel your block. If you don't block, you won't be able to play the game at times. There's a meme in the FGC that's, I didn't pay $60 to block. Well, you didn't pay shit to play this game, so start blocking. If you're blocking and you keep getting hit, start holding down back. This is your default blocking position. This is your safe space. Every single move can hit one of 3 ways: high, mid, or low. While you're in training mode, you can turn on the input, you can turn on the data display, and you can see which moves are which. The most common of all attacks are mids and lows. Almost all standing attacks, light, medium, and heavy, will be hitting mid. Some standing attacks can hit high, but they're pretty rare. Attacks coming from the air will always hit high. Crouching attacks will be low. So there's 3 types of hits, but there's only 2 types of blocking: standing and crouch blocking. This is where our first little mini game comes in. Standing block beats jumping air attacks, high attacks, and
mids,
but you'll get hit by a low. Crouching block is good against
mids
and low attacks, but loses to both standing highs and the jumping air attacks. Like I said earlier, crouching block is your best friend. You may ask yourself, well, why crouch block if it only blocks 2 types of attack, but standing blocks 3 and only loses to lows? Well, that's a great question. Thank you for participating and actually thinking in this one-way conversation that's a YouTube video. So let's break it down. Mids get blocked by both standing and crouching block. This type of attack is the most common in the game, and it gets hard shut down by both blocks, so mids don't really matter right now. It's just the difference between highs and lows. Attacks from the air, they're going to be considered high. So another pop quiz. Put your hand out and put your hand up before the vehicle hits the cat. I can't believe you let the cat get hit by the car. Those were about the speeds of an air, overhead, and low attack. Lows are extremely fast, and when doing a low light, they're pretty much unreactable. Highs, however, even when they're standing, are always slower and can be reacted to even if you're old like me. So keep holding down back, wait till you see a high, and you stand up and block. With more experience, you'll understand which moves for each character is a high. So when you see it coming, start holding back instead of down back to stand block the high attack. The high attacks are really obvious once you're looking out for them. If you really want to ruin someone's day and they keep jumping at you, hitting you with a high attack, if you're holding down back, just click heavy. Down heavy is a universal anti-air, is what they call it. Meaning, if they try and attack you from the air, your down heavy will beat it, no matter what. And you can do it from our safe space that is down back. Time to do a quick recap. We have our basic one-dimensional offense. ABC doesn't equal 1, 2, 3, it equals LMH. Make sure you got that light, medium, heavy, special down. Here's the buttons again if you need a refresher. Then we have the key to our defense. Protect the cat with down back. Stand when you see a high coming. They jump at you, you should be holding down back already, so just click B, circle, or L on your keyboard to press heavy. That means you'll probably hit them with your anti-air. With this, you can probably hop into a casual lobby and probably grab yourself a couple of wins, especially if Riot's matchmaking is working like it's supposed to. When in those games, try and focus on one thing first till you can do it second nature. For example, maybe hop into a game and start dashing around trying to get that hit on them with that light, medium, heavy special. It should only take a handful of games till that becomes second nature for you if you specifically focus on that. Dash around, X, Y, B, trigger. If you find yourself getting hit, start crouch blocking when people get close to you and focus on blocking your opponents. If you lose some games, that's okay. We're still in the process of learning, and you'll most likely be losing games. Winning isn't really important, you're trying to learn. So give yourself a handful of games to really nail down those concepts in this recap and come back after. Once you're back, we can get into what is actually happening before you're hitting the opponent, before you're blocking your opponent, the time where none of these things are happening. One of the main foundational concepts of fighting games where no one has the upper hand, and some may call it. This is where we get into how we should build our mindset in fighting games. Sorry, I'm going to get you to think a little bit, and things might not be as clear since I'm not very good at explaining things. This is where the mentality of playing fighting games comes in. So nothing flashy, but bear with me. This part is pretty fun though, so pay attention. If you're someone decent in other games, you understand that each of them have a basic mindset that you have to incorporate to be able to play the game. I'm going to relate to other Riot games you may be coming from, like League and Valorant. I'm a slave to Riot games, so I can really only give insight from these games, but maybe you can see similarities from games that you're coming from. If you're coming from Valorant, you understand that you can't just run around and spray your gun. That's not going to get you anywhere. Just like jumping and dashing in and mashing buttons, you're not going to do anything for you in 2x KO. You also understand that some guns are better at different ranges. Just like you can't hold a stinger long if you're fighting against a Vandal. In this game, you have to understand that your moves are stronger at different distances from your opponent. Moving into different angles in Valorant, where you have a better chance of getting the upper hand on your enemy, is just like moving into ranges where you're able to hit the opponent if they try to hit you and they miss. If you're coming from League, fighting games are extremely similar to the concept of laning. Making sure you're spacing yourself in the lane where you can hit them and maybe they can't hit you, knowing at what ranges your opponent is stronger and where you're able to get in. These are both concepts that apply to both games. Now back to 2x KO. From first look, you might think hitting people is the part of the game that fighting games actually are. What I'm about to talk about is actually, probably, maybe, possibly what the definition of how to play a fighting game is. When no one is hitting or blocking each other, this is what the higher plane of existence folks call being in neutral. Once someone starts hitting the other opponent, no matter if it hits or if they block, it is now the offensive player's turn. If you're the one getting hit or blocking, it's not your turn because the other player has the advantage and will be making all the active decisions. But being in the disadvantage or defensive state, it's not like you are not participating. If you're blocking, you still have to react to overheads. Even if you're getting hit, the combo won't last forever, I promise. You can maybe break if you have it, or you can just wait. Once it's done, you can roll away by choosing a direction, you can hold special to get up attack, and now we're back in neutral. This is where a lot of people fall short in learning fighting games and might be getting frustrated. Some people don't know that this part of the game exists. That's because we all have the primal instinct to just run at the other person and start swinging. That's okay at a very low level, but sometimes it may feel like you're not able to play that game if the other person knows what they're doing. When you really break it down, fighting games are just all about triangles. Neutral can be represented by a triangle. broken down by this video, which is broken down by this video, which breaks down this doc, which is a translation from this player. There are 3 ways you can play in a neutral state: passively reacting, actively unreactable, or stuffing activity. In a vacuum, each of these are very simple to understand. Passively reacting is constantly waiting for your opponent till they do something that can be punished. Example being waiting patiently, holding down back, and randomly if they jump at you with an attack, then you react by holding down and heavy to catch them in the air. Or just by waiting and blocking till they do a move that's unsafe, and then you punish them. Actively unreactable is doing things that are too fast for the passive reactor to react to. Something like doing dash in and a crouching light if you're close enough while they're just moving around. Some characters have specials where they just dash across, and we call that a neutral skip. Now, how do you beat something that's unreactable? Well, obviously the answer isn't reacting, it's just doing. This is where you start stuffing activity. This is when you're preemptively doing an attack to interrupt someone that's trying to do something unreactable. So, on a more primitive monkey level, reacting loses to unreactable, which loses to preemptive, which loses to reacting, which loses to unreactable. Subconsciously, you probably have just always been playing preemptively. That's the mindset of running around and just mashing buttons. That's because you haven't been thinking about the triangle. Now that you've heard me say this, go into games actively thinking about this neutral and how everything interacts with each other. There isn't one that's better than the other, and they all kind of counter each other in a little circle. In reality, you should always be moving between these different points like, I couldn't think of an analogy, but yeah, you should always be adapting to the current match to see which best fits. If you're consistently losing, you're consistently choosing the wrong option from the triangle. If you're consistently choosing the wrong option, you're probably consistently being consistent and choosing the same option every time. Remember, it's a triangle. They each beat one and lose to one. Now that you're adapting to the triangle, you may find yourself winning more. If your opponent keeps doing the same part of the triangle, that should be a free win for you because now you know equilateral shapes. If they keep preemptively doing moves and they're unsafe, then you react to that. I promise you, if you go into games with this triangle in mind, you'll instantly start getting better results, which is crazy because all you know how to do is hold backwards on defense and ABC on offense. But the neutral is the most important muscle that you should build, not combos. Actively trying to think about this concept, it'll get you very far. You won't win every game, but winning is looking to improve, and this is somewhere where you can always do that. Now let's play some 2xKO. With the basic controls we know, a new triangle emerges. Let's call this the fighting triangle. This is the triangle when you're not in neutral and someone's in an advantage state. We were thinking too much in the last section, so we're going to go back to basics for our monkey brains. On this corner, we have attacks. You know how to do these: light, medium, heavy, and also the specials. If you hit them, you win. On this corner, we have blocking. If you hold away, most commonly down back, you can block all of these attacks. If you can react to everything like the highs and the lows, the enemy can't do shit no matter how much you keep swinging. This is the final piece of that triangle, throw. This can be done by pressing medium and heavy at the same time. So Xbox, Y and B, PS5, triangle and circle, and on keyboard and mouse, K and L. Some characters have their own throws that can do more damage than regular ones, and that makes them very scary, like Blitzcrank, who's down S2. So if attacking is scissors and rock is blocking, if you're a filthy scissors player and they keep holding rock out, no matter how often you throw scissors, they will still beat scissors with rock if that's all you do. So let's say you find yourself hitting someone who won't stop blocking. Boom, that's when you drop the throw and their whole world comes crashing down when paper shows up. This is called mixing it up. When you break through someone's block with an overhead or a throw, that's called opening them up. To beat throw, you can simply just attack with a faster move or jump straight up, and then you'll be able to punish their missed throw. And if you want to break out of the fighting triangle, you can go back to neutral and jump backwards away from the throw. This is the most basic description of the gameplay into its simplest forms: rock, paper, scissors. And just like in real life, some people play RPS differently, and adapting to those things you find is what makes you better in this game, not learning a bunch of combos. Let's go deeper into more specific things in 2xKO. There will be times where you might find yourself blocking and it doesn't seem like you're able to get your turn back. When hitting someone who's blocking, there are some moves that are completely unsafe doing so. Knowing when things are unsafe determines when you can take your turn back. If you're fighting a clone of yourself who only knows LMH, if you block those 3 hits, that last hit is punishable because it's that slow-ass heavy move. That means you're able to take your turn back if you can quickly recognize that it wasn't safe. Congrats, you've made it. We're at the point where we're going to start extending your combo. We have our one-dimensional offense game plan right now with the light, medium, heavy. Let's bring it to the second dimension. Literally, this is the universal combo that works with every champion in the game. We'll split it up into two parts. The first part, the one that you know, but with a little change. You're going to do light, medium, and down heavy. That's the beginning part. This will launch the opponent upwards. I'm assuming at this point of the video that you understand what I mean when I say heavy instead of B or circle. The second part is right after you do the down heavy. You jump forwards, following them in the air. While in the air, you can do light, medium, heavy again. Then at the end of it, you can end it off with an air special. Figure out which one works for your character. Talking about the special, now you're in the second dimension. After learning that air special and which one works, it's possible to combo into one of your supers as well. I can't believe it took us this long to get to the 2x part instead of just the KO. Everything I was teaching you has to do with the most important part when your character is on the screen. But this game is a 2v2 game. I'm going to be explaining this with the duos as an example, but it also applies when playing solo, controlling both champions. Say you're playing with a friend. You don't just take turns once your teammate dies and then you come off the bench and it's your time to fight. As a team, there are two positions on the field, a point and assist. Everything you learned up until this point is you being the point character. Point means you're the main champion on the screen and fighting the other team's point character. This icon right here, in between the health bars, this is your assist icon. As the assist character, you can assist the point character by clicking that tag button I talked about earlier. And depending on the context of the match, this can do different things. It might seem like a lot, but if you're on the assist side, it's the only thing you can do. This is the new button you have to learn. On controller, it's A or X. On keyboard, it's just period. Everything that has to do with the team part of this game is going to be done with this same button. So remember, if your teammate needs help in any way and you're the assist, you'll use that tag button. As an assist character, you can press tag and you'll call an assist move. This is where you, as the assist champion, will come onto the screen and do some shit. Majority of the time, it'll do an attack. Every character has two different assists depending on what direction they press, either forward and back plus tag. Assist can be done as long as the person controlling the point has control over their character still. You don't have control over your character if you're being hit or if you're in a super or special animation. Successfully using the tag button will put your assist on cooldown. On defense, you also have access to assisting. If the point character is blocking, you can use your assist cooldown to push the enemy away. This adds some complexity to the fighting triangle of attack, block, and throw. Since if you push block, it might make something that may have been safe on block before super punishable since you pushed them away and it didn't hit the point character's block. It's also really good in the situations where you're blocking a bunch and it feels like you can't get your turn back. You use that push block and you'll go right back to neutral. The last way to help with your tag button as your assist has to do with the bar under your health. If it's full, it says break. That means you have the ability to break out of someone's combo for your point character to get out at any time by pressing tag and any of the special buttons. This will send the game right back to neutral, but it will also use up your break meter. Now this is where the game gets wild. At any point where both the point and assist characters are on the screen at the same time, the point character can click the tag button to switch positions. That means the point now becomes the assist, and the assist now becomes the point. You want to do this because while in the back, you can recover any gray health you may have gotten from getting hit or blocking, and it also allows for your friend to play as well. So if you're currently the assist, you have the ability to click tag to send out assists or help them out with push blocking or breaking them out of combos because they're begging for it. If you're the point character, you just play normally like we learned before with the neutral and the fighting game triangle. You beg for help, and anytime you see your teammate on the screen, you can press tag if you want to switch out. The point character has full control on when to switch out or not. They also have a way to force a switch even if the assist character isn't on the screen. They can do this at any time just by holding tag if nothing else is happening, or they can do a cool alley-oop doing a tag launcher. So instead of doing light, medium, down heavy, they can do light, medium, down tag, and it will launch the opponent into the air, but then the assist character will jump in. The new point character can now continue the combo into a light, medium, heavy special, just like the air combo that we learned earlier with this two-dimensional. The name of the game is really do something and then tag. If your teammate called an assist, charge your special and then tag. If your teammate push blocked and they got the enemy away, throw an attack and then tag. Your teammate broke you out of a combo, charge your punch and tag. Don't worry, if you have a ball hog on your team, they'll eventually die and you'll get to play too. But remember, it is extremely beneficial for you guys to keep swapping between each other. It allows you to gain your health back, both of you have fun being able to actually play the game, and low-key you get to rest a little in the back when you're assisting. Even if you're dead too, you have access to everything you were able to do as an assist. Assist attack, push blocks, breaks, they're all still controlled by who controls the assist character. Honestly, it was a pretty fucking genius way to handle tagging in a tag game and adding it in a way that brings a unique spin on being able to play as a duo. Lastly, we'll talk about the fuse quickly that I was telling you guys to use, Double Down. I told you guys to use Double Down because it's the easiest fuse to pilot as a team. This fuse allows the assist character to use their super after the point character does. Figure out which super can combo into your teammate's super and vice versa. So finally, let's recap. This is everything you need to know. You know how to move, forward, back, jump, dash. You know how to attack, light, medium, heavy, special. You know how to block, hold down, back, standing block if you need it. You know that everything is a commitment. You can't block if you're attacking. Don't have commitment issues. You make your decisions with pride. The neutral triangle. When nothing is happening, this is the neutral. What are you supposed to do? Either you react, you be unreactable, or you be preemptive. Now, the fighting triangle. Attacking loses to blocking, which loses to throws, which loses to attacking a little bit, kinda. It's more so what they call the attack-throw mix when hitting a block. Understand the concept of turns and neutral and being safe. Extending your combos into the second dimension, light, medium, down, heavy, light, medium, heavy, special. And we just learned assisting and tagging. That might have been a lot, but what's next? If you're simple-minded, you can look up how to extend your combos. A great resource is 2xcombo.app. YouTube is also great, like hopefully my channel if you want to learn Vi. You can go on Twitter and go hashtag 2xko_ and the champion like playing, and keep playing, practicing, and applying what you learned. That is really important. That's the hard part, and this will allow you to hit the satisfaction of hitting those combos that you might be learning from YouTube in-game. I really hope I got everything, but this is all I could remember when trying to think about how to learn the game and how to teach it. So hopefully it was helpful, hopefully it was clear, and if not, let me know in the comments. But thank you for watching. I know it was a long one, but appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully I see you in game. All right, see ya later.